getting past somber piece
and now
of this.
to a lighter note, because we want to end on. We always want to end. Listen, it's like a compliment sandwich. You got to go through the good, get through the bad, and then you get back to the good. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna end on a lighter note, some comedy for y'all.
Well, not just that. So there has been, I don't know if anybody else has seen this, in the last 24 hours, there's been proposals and approvals for new rules that will allow schools to pay players directly. I
It
went
got
and actually,
approved.
it got approved as of about 12 hours ago.
Oh Lord.
A little over 12 hours ago. So,
Oh
so,
Lord.
so I went and I had to go and look up some stuff. I had to go do my research on this to make sure I got some information. I don't have full everything that's going on because they said it's going to eliminate about 153 rules, somewhere between 150 to and some extras to be changed. But what it was NFL was signing off on 9 proposals that would rewrite rule book of which would allow schools to start playing players. The settlement was a part of three antitrust lawsuits facing NFL and 5 conferences, aka ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, and SEC.
Power 5.
The base of the Power 5. Power 4 because Pac-12 barely exists anymore, but we don't care about that.
It's a Pac-2.
So basically, it includes the agreement to lift the ban on direct payments to athletes from schools and allow schools to opt in. So you do have schools that can opt out of this. You don't have to do this. And it was going to begin in August, with a share of $20.5 million per year with athletes that they could share with athletes per year. The Ivy League did opt out and are continuing to operate under the current structure.
Of course, the Ivy League opt out. The smartest guys in the country, of course, they would opt out.
And schools have till June 15th to decide whether or not they're going to opt into this new current structure or program or not. So, like I said, it eliminates about 153 rules that place those limits. However, this is what will kind of be implemented over time. One, scholarship limits are going to be removed, but they're being replaced with roster limits, which one in turns will expand the number of scholarships that they can use per year. Though it will reduce the amount it will possibly reduce the amount of walk-ons and partial scholarship spots.
Oh, whoa. What you mean reducing the walk-ons? Hold up. I was a walk-on. Wait a minute. Hold
on. I say it's probably going to reduce the number of walk-ons and partial scholarship spots, because what it is you're now having a sport-specific roster limit. But because of this, it also will double the amount of scholarships for women's sports. So now, instead of just bringing a bunch of women on and you not having scholarships for them, now you will have a scholarship set amount for the amount of roster you have. So let's say you have 55 to a football roster, you now have more of a chance of having 55 scholarships to give out to that 55 roster.
I'm cool with it, and I'm definitely okay with the ladies getting paid too. I'm 100% behind it. However, as a former walk-on, god dang it.
It's not saying that you won't get walk-ons, period. It just said it's just taking the number. It said it just may take the number down.
Like, so don't kick me off the squad.
They're also going to be setting up a clearinghouse for all NIL deals from third parties and NILs worth more than $600 or more.
That's almost every NIL deal.
Hold on. So, because of
the NCAA one was $600 in a video game.
Because of this, they're also going to be creating a technology platform that's going to help monitor the payments and open up a window that athletes can now report their third-party NIL deals. So the third party are all the NILs that are outside of what the school already has. So all the NIL partnerships they have.
Like the ones that that Angel Reese and them had from Amazon, the one that Paige Becker's got from I think like Liberty Mutual, Financial Mutual.
Yeah, basically. Like so, let's say you went to Charleston. So you went to Charleston Southern, and you got one from the Chinese spot down the road. That's a third party.
If Fortune Garden sponsored me, I'd been happy as hell, boy.
If Fortune Garden would have gave you an NIL deal, you would have had for more than $600. You'd have had to report the third party deal through this platform. Is what they're saying. It also is going to create It's also going to establish an annual reporting requirements for schools to pay athletes, which is, like I said, which is part of that $20.5 million pool, and that's for the biggest schools beginning next year.
You know what this
So
sounds like?
what's up?
It sounds like taxes for NILs. Because think
I
about it,
mean, it's NFL.
anything over $600, I gotta report. That's a tax
Report.
return,
Yeah,
bro.
it's the NFL. Like and you got to do it on annual reporting for the school because this is getting bought out. You got to report this so the NCAA can report this back on their taxes. Then,
Not the NCAA trying to tax.
then,
They said we gonna get our money one way or the other. We
then
gonna
they're
get
gonna
these
have
taxes.
they're gonna have an enforcement body developed by the conferences to be as like defendants in this situation. But basically, all that enforcement body is going to be doing is just basically overseeing the rules and making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do with this money. And
Man,
from what I can speculate is I think it's mainly only affecting D1 athletes right now. The main reason why I think that is because some of the requirements they're doing for the athletes. So the athletes themselves are required to be enrolled full time and meet D1 progress toward degree requirements to earn that to be it toward their degrees to even receive the benefits. And you have to get it within your you can only receive these benefits within your 5-year eligibility period. So if
yeah,
you're
that's fine.
so if you come in as a 6-year athlete and you're no longer on your 5th year eligibility, you're not going to get these benefits anymore. So
I'm okay with that actually.
and then like I said, and then on top of that, you also have to show that you are working toward that you are meeting requirements that are showing you are progressing towards getting your degree. If you aren't doing that, you won't receive this money.
I'm okay with that because that goes into what we were talking about last week of them putting kind of a limit on the people who were trying to abuse the NIL system and stay in college. So they're like 28, 29, 30
Yeah.
type of deal. So I feel like I
So yeah, no, if
feel
you
as
come
though
in,
that's what that rule is trying to do. Like this
yeah, so
whole
yeah,
situation is trying to mitigate that.
yeah. So if you still have your fifth, if you're still going, you up until your 5th year and make sure that you are getting your degree. And you have to be a full time student. You can't come in as like a part time do none of that because even then to play on the team anyway, you have to be a full time student to even get on the team in the first place.
I will say
You can't
this.
be a part time student getting on these teams.
I will say this to all you part timers and 6 years, 7 years who are trying about to get paid or whatnot. I got one thing for you.
Wah, wah, wah. Will you cut that out?
Because so basically from what it sounds like is with all this going down, you'll have and this is just like we were talking about last week. What I think this will enforce, and now it's not going to be a full on everything's going to be written in stone and 100% done cut dry by the time this is done with.
Absolutely not.
It's going to take
Somebody
a
gonna
couple
figure
of
out.
years.
Somebody
for
gonna
them to
figure out
get
how to
it
abuse the system, and then because
Yeah,
what's gonna
and
happen is they gonna go into this first year. Somebody, some D1 athlete or some part timer, it's probably gonna be a part timer or a walk on. Gonna figure out how to abuse the system and like work their way around it, or figure out a way not to report certain income or how not to
and
report certain income and blase blase
right,
blase. They're gonna have
and
to
I
work
think
that out.
and I think that's the reason, and I think that's part of the reason why they're mainly focusing on Power Four, Power Five groups of schools with the
Hey,
big, especially
if
with
you
the
can do it
biggest,
with
with the biggest amount of
if you can
money
do it
here.
with the biggest schools, then you know how to do it with the smaller schools that don't have as much
Right.
money.
Basically, so they're doing it mainly for some of the biggest schools, and it was like, okay, we're going to work with this to see how this works out, and then if this works well, and we can start keeping more players in one place, because that's what I think this is going to force is players staying in one spot for a little bit longer, because now that now you're getting paid directly by the school. You're not about to
I
just
say
go in and
this.
have to search for deals because you can still get your agents to discuss NILs. They're still allowing you to do that,
I,
but you have to report
I
your NIL.
say I say what it's gonna do. It's going to make players stay who haven't transferred out after 2 years. So you're gonna see a lot of transfers be like freshmen and sophomores again,
Mm-hmm.
rather than like juniors and seniors who only got like 1 or 2 years of eligibility left, or they only got 1 year of eligibility, and then all of a sudden they find out, oh, my credits aren't going to transfer. I have to go like 2, 3 years. Well, you're not going to get all that money for X,
Nope.
Y, and Z. So I think that's really what is going to push back. And essentially, if you don't transfer by your freshman or sophomore year, might as well just
Oh
stick it
yeah,
out and get your NIL where you at, bro,
that's
and
it.
and keep it
Get
pushing.
that, get that, and get
Keep
that
pushing
school
P.
money.
Get
Get
that
that
school money,
scholarship
call
money
it
a
a day.
different way.
Hey,
Now,